Welcome to Season 4 of Whine with HR. We are so excited to be back with you this year. Although, I have to say, it's been a bit of a rocky start to the year. Do you agree, Trisha?
I cannot even begin to agree with you more.
Yeah. So while we
like we're hung over from last year, right?
Yes. Without even the benefit of having had good wine to cause that hangover.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a lot. So while we are excited to be back with all of you, I can't say we're excited about how the year has started. So we decided we were going to talk a little bit of self-care, have maybe a little extra WHINE this episode, as well as some extra WINE this episode just to get through it. And,
Definitely.
get through it together. So that's what we're going to do. So this episode, we are talking about New Year, same shit or different shit. It's all still shit.
Just can't help but love that. Anyone who knows us knows that we love to talk about self-care. We love to practice self-care. And just because we're talking about the workplace doesn't mean that we can't talk about self-care. Because it's incredibly important to not just do it when you're at home on a Friday night. Sometimes it needs to be a Tuesday afternoon. Sometimes it needs to be a Monday part 3 in the morning, whatever it is for you. And so we wanted to just, really keep it real because after all, that's what Jules and I do. So we wanted to keep it real with you, have a conversation about how we're feeling. And then also I have some, of course, stats for you, and then some ideas of ways that you can actually practice self-care at work.
But first,
Whine!
all right, Trish, what you drinking?
Prosecco.
Well, I mean, at least you got champagne bubbles, even if you don't have the excitement to go along with it.
Right? Yeah, I bought this. I know you guys are going to be shocked by this, but it's Josh.
No way.
I know, right? I got this bottle couple days before New Year's with the thoughts that, we would do a champagne toast. Was very excited about it. Then the snowstorm hit and I was out at my parents'. And so I ended up out at my parents' for 2 nights. And then really wanted to wait and share this with someone special. And so, Julie, you're that someone special.
Aww.
What about you? What are you drinking?
So I have been branching out a little bit, and I am drinking, I'm going to butcher this because it's German, but I'm drinking a Gruner Veltliner. It's probably like Veltliner. I don't know, really like Gruner. Anyway. I have to say, it's lovely. So it comes in this like beautiful, sleek, tall, thin bottle. It reminds me a little bit of a dry Riesling, which is becoming one of my favorite wines. I just started getting into dry Rieslings, and they're lovely. But this one is, it says, relax and unwind with this elegant Gruner Veltliner. Just imagine that's a German person saying that.
The accent is
right.
Just too
I know.
much.
People are going to be like, "Oh dear God." Anyway, bursting with aroma of ripe apples and apricots, well balanced, dry and refreshing. It is perfect with a range of salads and fish dishes, or simply on its own. Serve well chilled, which that is how I am having it, and it is lovely. So it's bringing a smile to my face, which, as we've just discussed, we both desperately need. So there you go. Now, before we get into how we're feeling and the stats and all the other things, we are going to be debuting a new thing on social media called the Hall of Shame. But we wanted to do that on this particular episode first because we talk about this particular organization all the time and we give them props all the time. So we thought it was important to point out that even when you are an organization that is supposed to be an expert in HR, we'll get to that later, you can still screw things up really, really badly. So our Hall of Shame awardee this episode is Sherm, sadly. So I'm sure you have all heard about this. It's been in the news for a bit now, but Sherm got sued. And I will let Trisha do more of the details, but they are in our Hall of Shame for behaving badly. So, Trish, you want to give a few of the details about this one?
Yeah, I definitely will. With an absolute broken heart, because as y'all know, Julie and I often go to SHRM as one of our favorite resources. So what are the details? Colorado jury recently awarded $11.5 million. That was the verdict, 11.5 million against
Millions.
SHRM. Millions. Yeah, million. For racial discrimination. Now, y'all, as if that isn't bad enough, during the trial, and this, Julie, come on, Sherm's lawyers tried to actually argue that they should not be considered an expert in HR. Excuse me?
Yeah, what? Say what?
What is your name again?
Yeah.
What? Why do I pay a membership fee?
Right.
Okay, so we're not going to throw like the entire company out because of this, but it is important for us because we do use them quite often and we do reference them a lot. So we want to make sure that we are calling ourselves out, calling them out, and reminding all of you that even companies that specialize in HR can still get it very, very wrong. We could still get it very, very wrong. Make sure that you are staying on top of things and paying attention. And also, just so you know, SHRM is appealing the judgment.
Of course they are.
Of course.
They are.
Yeah.
And you know the whole we're not an expert in HR thing is a legal maneuver, but
Oh, for sure.
how dumb. Like, it's very short-sighted because how are you then... Okay, because this trial is going to end at some point after the appeal and all of it. They go through all of that. Then they're going to be left with the fact that they said in court under oath that they are not experts in HR when their entire brand is being an expert in HR. So this is a real head scratcher. Now, that does not mean that the resources still aren't good or useful, or that having a membership isn't worth it. Yes, we have to decide where we're going to put our dollars and who we're going to support, but they still do have a lot of really good resources, but we did feel that it was very necessary to point out that they've screwed up pretty badly in this particular case, because again, we give them props. So on that note, Trisha has something to say. Sorry, hold on.
No, it just reminded me of that episode that we did last year about owning up to your mistakes.
Yes.
And how important that is for being a leader. So if you guys didn't catch that one, please go back and check that one out, because that's what I'm hoping that they will eventually do. I'm sure that they're not allowed to do or say anything right now. I'm sure the lawyers are like, no. But I do hope eventually they will have that moment where they can stand up and say, we messed up and don't do what we did.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. We shall see.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. Okay, so now let's get to the WHINE of the episode, which is for us that we're just feeling kind of about this year, For me personally, and Trish, I'll give you a second to say one whole second. You get 1 second. That's it.
That's it.
So sum it up, right? No, that would be dangerous, and we would probably have to bleep it out. But that's okay. Not for Trisha. For me, we'd have to bleep it out. But anyway, yeah, so I typically feel like at the beginning of the year, I have a lot of inspiration and motivation, and I'm feeling all woohoo about things. And it's not to say I'm not feeling woohoo about anything, but I feel like my get up and go not only got up and went, but it went to like I don't know, the North Pole, and it just
Other
decided
side of
not
the
to,
world.
right, not to come back. So
Yep.
I am really struggling this year so far. I am tired. I'm like a level of tired I don't know that I've ever been before. So that is
Mhm.
um a struggle for me,
It's a
really.
mental fatigue as
Yeah.
well, and emotional and physical. It's all of the
Mhm.
above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so yeah, so I we will get into how we're dealing with that, but for those of you who are feeling this way, same. Same.
You are not alone.
You are definitely not alone. And it seems like a lot of people are on the struggle bus. So hopefully we're going to end up at a great destination. So anyway, Trish, what about you? What's going through your mind right now?
Honestly, it's a lack of motivation. I
Mm.
have a huge project that I need to get done. It's one that I've been working on and I'm extremely, extremely excited about. And yet I cannot get the motivation to sit down and get it on paper. And I honestly just, there's no reason why. Just sit down and do it. But like you said, my get up and go, man, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so trying to find different ways to motivate myself and to remember all the good that's going to come out of what I'm going to do. But it still is, I have to say, my parents even showed up. My parents are here downstairs as we're recording. They showed up with flowers for me.
Aw,
Yeah, right.
that's sweet. That's really
Yeah,
sweet.
it just little things, little things, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
think everybody could use that kind of support.
Absolutely. Yes. And so we do want to support each other this episode. And hopefully together we can come up with some good ideas that other people can use as well. But before we get to that, you know what time it is.
Stat time. Do 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 stat time. Am I gonna get in trouble for ripping off Batman? That was Batman. I know it didn't sound like it, but sorta.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
No.
weren't before you said it was Batman. 'Cause-
No. Right. Oh, so because we are focusing on self-care, I really think that the stats I wanted to share with you talk about not just for HR, but especially HR, the emotional toll. Let's just start there. 75% of HR employees or those engaged in HR find it emotionally exhausting.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes. 47% say it actually hurts their own mental health. Now, we're the ones who are supposed to be in charge of helping other people navigate these challenges or these changes or these big deal things, and we are emotionally exhausted and burned out. Speaking of burnout, not just HR people, but 30% of those who are in HR do feel mentally drained. 24% are burned out, and 28% feel overwhelmed. Now, y'all, I'm focusing on HR just at the moment because I really want you to realize that we are the ones, as we just said, who are supposed to be driving this mental health, this jump forward, the hoorah rah, if you will. And if we are feeling burned out and overwhelmed, how do you think your employees are feeling? Just want to kind of stop there for a second. And if you're feeling that way, how do you think your employees are feel? Most of us are trained at least a little bit in how to help people promote better mental health or to have better feelings or to work through some negative processes or feelings. And so I just want to say if you're feeling it, your organization is feeling it. If you're feeling it, your friends are probably feeling it. So that's not to say, okay, we should all just throw in the towel. It is that reminder again that we're not alone and that we can get through this with just some little kindnesses here and there. So I think I'm going to leave it there for stats for now, Jules.
Yeah, I think those are really important. And again, yes, they're focused on HR. A large part of our audience is HR professionals. We have a lot of other people who listen to the show as well. But I think everybody can relate to that. I think that 2025 was a year, you know,
Oof.
uh,
Yeah.
and 2026 just seems to be more the same. And so I think that as much as you may have been able to get some rest over the holidays, nobody feels rested. At
No.
least nobody that I have talked to feels rested.
Nope.
Everybody seems to be in the same boat we're in. And so I think that it can be really helpful to just be able to acknowledge that and share that moment with others where, yeah,
Mhm.
like I went to dinner with one of my good friends who also happens to be in the HR space. And, we were just talking about life and this and that in general. And then we started talking about work, and we both own our own companies. And I said, I'm really struggling this year. Like I don't have the same level of energy towards work that I normally do. And she said, thank you for saying that. Thank you for admitting that, because it gave her the space to admit it as well, you know?
Yep.
And so that's why I thought this was an important thing to talk about, because yes, Trisha and I come on the podcast and we always seem upbeat, and thankfully we're not always on camera anymore, because otherwise you'd all know the truth. We're really good at hiding it.
Truth.
Cheers to us.
Cheers to that.
But I do think, like, even as upbeat as we may normally seem, we go through these things too. And I think it's really helpful for people to know that, like it happens to all of us. Uh, just things, for those of us who live in cold weather climates, it's cold. And the weather is changing every day. So it's like rainy, snowy, icy, crappy. It's just pretty much crappy. I mean, like that's the ongoing theme. It's just either crappy rain or crappy snow, or crappy cold, but it's, it just is what it is. So anyway, so we've established that we all are kind of feeling meh. But so what do we do about that? I think the first thing that I would say that I am learning and trying to be a lot better about is just acknowledging it and accepting it. And if I can't always. There are days I have to power through. But like this morning, for example, I woke up and I was in a ton of pain. I had a killer headache, and I was more tired than I have felt in a very, very long time. And I didn't have anything that had to get done.
Did you
Yeah,
give yourself the space and time?
I did. I did.
Jules,
I know this is huge for me. So
it is.
I actually went downstairs and I used my Pilates reformer. Now, I did not make it a workout. This is also very important for those of you who know me, because I am um my Apple Watch is very judgy, and I hate it at times, and I always want to close my rings. And so it's very difficult for me to not do things, but I'm trying to learn that I have to give my body rest. But I was so stiff and so sore that I knew I also needed to like do some gentle movement. So I went and did my Pilates for like 20 minutes. It was actually some random number, like 21 minutes and 47 seconds, which is also weird for me.
I was going to say, which you never do.
And
Julie
then,
is a bit of a perfectionist, in case
well,
anyone
yeah,
hasn't
yeah, a little
hasn't
bit,
figured that out.
a little bit. So, and then, so Scott and I, our present to ourselves was to get a sauna. So we now have a sauna in the basement. So then I went and sat in the sauna for 10 minutes. Um, and it was lovely. And yes, I had those fleeting thoughts of guilt about taking this time for myself, but quite frankly, I was not going to be productive because the
Mm-mm.
brain was not firing. There was not much happening upstairs. So,
I love it. I love it. By the way, I highly, highly recommend those. If anyone ever has been, we got ours about a year and a half ago from Sam's Club. And it is a portable sauna. It has infrared light. It is amazing. And it was not that expensive. And I tell you what, there is this feeling of peace and wellness that comes from being in one of those things for just 10 minutes.
yeah.
They're amazing.
Especially again, if you live in a cold weather climate, being able to
Uh-huh.
go into a hot box for a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
nice. Very
I
nice.
love them. Yeah, they're great.
So I did actually manage to do some self-care this morning. Now, there are
Nice.
mornings that's not possible, but so I guess my first little tip would be when you can take those moments and do whatever is going to feel helpful in that moment.
I love that so much.
Yeah. So what about you, Trish? What have you figured out?
Well, for me, and again, this isn't going to help our listeners at work, but for me, it's a bubble bath at the end of the day, with or without a glass of wine. But for me, that's my quiet, reflecting time. I love just being in their bubbles. It maybe reading a book, maybe playing a game, and the most important thing, which you've already said, which is not feeling guilty. Um, not feeling guilty. That's the big thing. And my husband knows that that's my time and he encourages it. And so I think that's the other thing too is encourage those in your life, partner, friends, coworkers, whatever. Encourage people to take that time for themselves and not feel guilty because the research is there. And I don't have it with me. I wish I did, but there's research that says like even walking away for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, can completely redo your mental health. As a matter of fact, I actually think I do have it. I'll see when you're talking next if I can find it. But for those of you who are saying, okay, great. So what do I do at work when I'm stressed? I have a couple of articles that we will link to in the show notes. There's one from Indeed. There's another one that is actually from OSHA. And then
Oh,
there's a third one that comes from the state of New York. But each one of those three articles really focuses on the same things. Number one is practicing, um, again, that time to take a break. Get outside if you can. Yes, it's cold for those of us who live in cold weather, but you know what? Getting outside for a few minutes, connecting, breathing is super, super helpful. Drinking water is another tip that they give. Um, Practicing, that's not the word, packing a good lunch, something that's full of nutrition. Wearing your favorite clothing. So if you wake up and you're feeling extra funky, put on something bright and colorful and just kind of remember those to use not just the color that you're wearing, but also that mindset shift. Change your mindset. Decorate your desk. That's another fun one, I think. A desk cleanup. I don't
yeah.
know about you guys, but well, first of all, if you could see my desk right now, it freaks me out. Like it is so atrocious. I can't work in a cluttered workspace because it really does reflect my mind. So take a minute, 5 minutes, use that time to decompress and feel good about getting something done and get yourself and your brain in a position where it says, okay, now we're ready to work.
Yeah, I
So,
think, yeah, those are all really, really great tips. Um, I think the comment that you and I have both made about guilt is really, really critical because it's easier said than done to not feel guilty about something, right? And so I do think that if you start making little self-care tasks part of your daily routine, you eventually do stop feeling guilty because you realize the world is not going to fall apart if you are not there for 5 minutes. So start with 5 minutes. You don't have to start with 25 minutes or a half an hour or a half a day or a full day.
for
You know,
sure.
you can start with 5 minutes. But like Trisha said, take that walk outside, breathe in, connecting with nature. I agree with you. Even all the mental health apps say that. That's one of the
Mhm.
best things to do is to go connect with nature. So take that 5 minutes, realize that the world's not going to fall apart. Um, take a couple of deep breaths, you know, do whatever you need to do, go wherever you need to go in your mind. You may still feel guilty at first, and that's okay. And like even nowadays, I still feel guilty. I always joke that, like, you know, I was brought up Catholic, and that's the number one emotion for a Catholic is guilt because that is what they drum into you. Like all those years of catechism is just guilt. You feel guilty about everything. But you know, even this morning I had those thoughts of that, like, oh, I really should be working already. I really should. I've got enough to do. I should be working. I should. It's shooting all over myself, as people say. Um, and but now I have those thoughts and I can say, no, you know
Mhm.
what? I would not be productive right now because my head's not in the game. I'm just not there. I would be, as you said at the beginning, Trisha, sitting at my desk with a blank sheet of paper or, you know, a blank document open with no words
Yep.
coming, you know,
Yep.
because it's just not happening. So eventually you can learn to let go of the guilt. I'm by no means an expert, but I think that that is something that a lot of people struggle with. So I just wanted to come back to that. Um, the next thing that I would say is think about different ways to do things. So Trisha, I was thinking about this when you were talking about, you know, kind of like that brain block, like you just can't make yourself sit down and write because you know it's going to be a big task, right? Like once you
Yeah.
start, it's probably going to be hours. And that's fine because once you start, you'll be in it and it'll be flowing and you'll be great, but it's that getting started thing. And I think I have the same struggle. I think a lot of people do. And I'm just learning, like, sometimes we need to give our brains a different pathway. So, like, if you typically would start writing in a Word document or writing pen to paper, maybe if that feels like too much, try to do voice to text in a note on your phone or like do something else. Use AI. I don't care. Like, do
Right.
something just to get you started, like something to break you out of the I don't have the energy to even start this, you know? And I don't know. So I'd be curious if you try any of those and they work, like we'll post on social media that they actually work. But I'm just like really fascinated by this concept of, you know, I was listening to something um today, a little meditation thing when I was in the sauna, and they were talking about again switching things up. So like brushing your teeth with your opposite hand because it makes your brain because you know everything becomes
Engages.
rote.
Yep.
Yep, everything
Yes.
becomes rote. And so like just switching the littlest thing up. So like today when I was playing my New York time games cuz you know I do the spelling bee and I have to get queen bee every day. Um I was typing in the words with my left hand instead of my right. You know, and
Nice.
it's just very interesting because you can sort of feel your brain like, oh, I have to work again. I forgot what that was like.
I actually was, it's so weird that you said that because I was listening to something yesterday and it was a woman who was talking about like forming relationships. And she was saying instead of asking someone like, how are things going? Fine, it's okay, meh, busy, but you could say, so what exciting projects are you working on? Or what big thing do you have planned for this week? Or what's on your list to do for this week? Because that answer, it can't just be fine, good, meh. Like, and so it creates an engagement. And so it's exactly what using your opposite hand, like you're talking about. I
Yeah.
love that so much. And I actually stole something from you. That's
Oh,
what has been helping me. I can't get to it right now because it's underneath my microphone. It would create all sorts of noises. But I have my notebook that you gave me, brilliant ideas I had while drinking wine. It now goes with me everywhere. And it sits next to my bed because anyone who is a 50-some-year-old woman knows you wake up and for hours sometime in the middle of the night. And so I have started bulleting or just writing down random thoughts. I take it with me when I go to my parents' doctor's appointments. I do everything with it. And it has become, believe it or not, a source of stress release for me because getting it out of my head and onto the paper, there's no commitment there because it's for me. And I think that that has been probably the biggest thing that I've done this year that is helping. I'm still stuck and I'm going to try some of the things that you were saying. But I'm getting unstuck slowly. It's kind of like when you put kitty litter, for those of you who live in the cold climate, you know this, like putting the kitty litter behind your tires. Slowly you start to get traction from the ice. Yeah, that's where I am. I'm in like full stage kitty litter.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. That is such a perfect metaphor for you to use.
Right?
Oh my God. That's
Yes.
hilarious. Okay. I
So,
love it. I love it. Next time you put kitty litter under a tire, you have to take a video so that people can truly,
oh,
truly
I
understand.
will.
Okay. All right. Well, I really hope that we had a couple little tidbits that were helpful. I think the biggest thing that I want to stress, so we're going to do some final thoughts and we'll get back to our WINE, but I think the biggest thing that I want to stress is that it is okay to feel however you are feeling. And if you are feeling like the rest of us, welcome to the club. And if you are feeling super motivated, send some of that juju this way, please.
Yes,
Please.
please.
But just know it's all good. We all go through it. We are going to figure out how to get through it together. And we really appreciate you letting us be our real, authentic selves, particularly as we start the year off. Because I think that at the beginning of any year, we always have this like new year, new you bullshit. I think we're labeled as explicit, so I think I'm okay. But you always have that, and you always have these like unrealistic expectations we all put on ourselves about how like great everything's going to be, and then 2 weeks into January or 2 days into January, what else? You're like, ugh, I just don't have it. It's all okay, and I think we need to like release a lot of that pressure and let it go because it is not helpful. It is not productive. So the last thing I will say that I have tried to do this year is to set goals that are fun for me and that I won't feel bad if I don't accomplish. So one of them for me is learning Italian because I want to retire in Italy. And I don't need to be fluent by the end of the year because that is not realistic. I just want to be able to understand it better and feel like I could have a rudimentary conversation, like maybe order a cup of coffee or say, hello, how are you? Et cetera, et cetera. Have a short conversation with people. But that's something that's fun and near and dear to my heart. So, like, I think like that's a great goal. I did not set the typical, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. I'm going to make X amount of dollars. I'm going to like all these things that I know are not going to happen. And then I'm going to feel really, really bad about. So like that was my entire goal setting exercise was to set goals that aren't going to make me feel bad.
I actually was listening to NPR and they had an expert on NPR, and she was saying the same thing. If you really, really want to set goals, make them fun. It's not about, I'm going to run a marathon. Well, okay, but you've never run before. How about, I'm going to try to do some fast walking, or I'm going to try to do this, and breaking it into those small bite-sized pieces. And then, like we talk about SMART goals, and then
Mhm.
having the little pieces along the way. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love
There.
that.
What are your final thoughts, Trish?
Mine, it's really boils down to one thing, and that is be present. Be present. When you are at work, try to be present. When you are with your family, try to be present. Friends, be present. Whatever it is that you're doing, just be present. And if you are like at work and you're like, I am not present, I have a million other things to do, then you know what? Give yourself, going back to what Julie and I were already saying, give yourself the freedom and be patient with yourself. Spend 5 minutes, go take a walk, do some deep breathing, do some meditation, uh go outside in the parking lot and scream. Whatever it is that you need to do to then go back and then be centered in your space. I think so many of us are pulled in so many different directions because we're so concerned about not just what's going on in our lives, but what's going on everywhere else, that it's super, super hard to be present right now. And I think that's creating a lot of dissatisfaction. So be present, be there for the ones you love. You are not alone.
Well said. Mic drop. You did remind me of something, so real quick, I'm going to say also remember, because I think especially in HR, we have a tendency to think this. You do not have to fix everything or everyone. Not your job. So that's the final thing I'm going to
Second
leave you
mic
with.
drop.
Right? Yep. Okay. So going back to my wine. Yeah, no, I love this one. So we are going to do a better job this season of putting the wines we have tasted and our reviews of them on our website, which is going to be coming soon. And also make that accessible to all of you. Put it in the show notes or wherever it makes sense. We haven't figured that out yet. And that's okay. We don't have to have everything figured out. Nope. But we will be sharing that. So this wine in particular, I am a big fan of. And because I'm a little bougie with my wine, I believe that this bottle was under $20. So that's super bougie price wise.
Well done.
Yeah. So Trish, what about you? Your Prosecco, you still Josh? I mean, it's Josh. It's Prosecco.
It's Josh, so of course I love it. But I do want to share. I didn't share this with y'all earlier. This is what it says: meant for everyday celebrations. See, like getting together just with us.
Yeah.
Our Prosecco was crafted to pay tribute to founder Joseph Carr's memories of time spent in Italy. With flavors of green apple, pear, and citrus with a touch of sweetness, the sparkling wine is vibrant and refreshing. So for those who like a little bit of a sweeter wine, for those who like a little bit of a drier, you would probably be okay with this too. I think that it's a nice cross palate Prosecco.
Well, the bubbles
Here's
always
to
help
bubbles.
too. Yeah.
What's that?
The bubbles always help.
See, exactly. It makes me smile.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
Okay. So on that note, thank you again for joining us. I do have to say the other thing, and we'll be talking about this a lot more in this season, is connection is so important because, as I mentioned, this morning was really, really rough for me. But just sitting here and talking with one of my best friends about how crappy we both feel.
Just getting the text message from you earlier today helped, honestly.
About the year is,
Yes.
I already feel better. So don't be afraid to reach out. And if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, you can email us.
We're here. You can definitely email us at any time. We'd love to hear from you. Interact with us on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. And we're on Instagram too now. I'm so excited about all the different places.
Yeah, there's so many places you can find us. And please be patient because we suck at this. So it's okay.
Yeah, we're learning.
Okay. But thank you for joining us. Let's all hope the year gets better. And whether it does or it doesn't, we're going to get through it together. Cheers.
Cheers.